Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first BJ&Co board game video. This is a new series for us that we're going to show you guys how to play different board games, give you a nice quick overview of the rules so you guys can just jump in and get going. As this is a new series for us, we'd love to hear from you. What do you like? What do you don't like? What can make it better? Throw it down in the comments below for us, please. But let's get right on into it. First game that we're going to be taking a look at is Kingdomino. This is a fabulous game for 2 to 4 players. It only takes about 15 minutes. Recommended ages is 8+. And it was produced or designed by Brunto Cathala and put out by Blue Orange. Let's get on into it. So now let's take a look at your goal in the game. What you're trying to do is add lands to your kingdom and have the most prosperous kingdom in the end. Your prosperity is determined based on the size of the different properties in your land, multiplied by the number of crowns in each property. A property is considered any space of the same land type that's all matched together. You can have multiple different properties of the same land type within your kingdom. There are 6 different types of land in the game. There's your plains, your fields, your forests, your water, your mountains, and your wasteland. So how do you get tiles into your kingdom? Well, first off, you just want to grab one of the castles, starting tile, as well as a corresponding meeple. In a 2-player game, you'll need to grab 2 meeples of the same color. Next, we need to set up the tile pool. For a 2-player game, you'll need to grab 24 random tiles, mix them all up. For a 3-player game, you'll need 36 different tiles, and for a 4-player game, you'll need all 48 that are in the bin. You want to mix them all up, put them back into this tray in such a way that the number side is visible so that you'll be drawing from that number side. The next thing you'll want to do is grab tiles based on the number of players in the game. For a 2 or 4-player game, you'll want to grab 4 tiles because it'll be based on the number of meeples that are in place. And then for a 3-player game, you'll just want to grab 3. You grab however many you need out of the box, take a look at their numbers, and arrange them in such a way that they are in chronological order so that the lowest numbers at the top and the highest numbers at the bottom, place them down on the table in that order, and then flip them over. To determine turn order, randomly select a meeple from the players in the game, and then that player will get to select which tile that they want. Continue this until all the meeples have been placed. Once all the meeples have been placed, you draw your next 4 sets of tiles, arrange them in order again, and flip them over. And now the player whose meeple is closest to the top of the row of the first one, so where the lowest number was, will get to add this tile to their kingdom. We'll go over the rules for that in a second. And then select from the next row as to which tile that they would like. It's always an interesting decision because the closer you place to the top of the column, the better choice you'll have from the next set that gets placed down. However, it tends to be the ones with the larger numbers on the back have more crowns behind them. So we'll say there you go. This then repeats for each player, working your way down the line. They add this to their kingdom and then they pick which one they want, so on and so forth. Once that's done, you repeat for the next row until all the tiles have been used up. So, how do we add tiles to our kingdom? There are 2 main restrictions. The first is that half of the tile must connect to an existing tile in your kingdom by at least one side. That means no diagonals, so you cannot place it like this. It must be touching by a side. It also means that it must touch with something that's already existing of the same land type, or the center space, which is your wild. So anything can connect to there. This does also mean that you can run into some very interesting situations where other land types match with different ones. That's completely legitimate because they are attached to the wild tile by at least one side. And you also have ones like this, right? Where it's attached to water, so that's fine. It doesn't matter that it's beside a field here. Due to that restriction, if, say, we pulled this 5th tile and we've already covered up our wild space, since we do not have any fields or forests out on play here, we cannot place it anywhere around no matter what we do. In instances like this where you can't place a tile, that tile is just discarded and you're at a little bit of a disadvantage. The other restriction is that you cannot build more than 5 in one direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our kingdom can be no bigger than 5 by 5. So even if we went this, I mean, this is basically as big as we could make it. So we'd only be filling in these corners from here on out. We could not place out here, here, here even, because it takes us more than 5 in any one direction. Again, in instances like this, if you cannot build it, you would have to place bigger than the 5 by 5. That tile is just discarded. When there's no more tiles to draw, players will take their last tile and place it into their kingdom. They will then move on to scoring. As we mentioned earlier, scoring is based on the size of each property multiplied by the number of crowns. So if we were scoring this property here, we would get 4 tiles times 1 is 4. 4 tiles times 2 is 8, so we're up at 12. 7 tiles times 1 is 7, so we're up at 19. 1 tile times 2 is another 2, we're up at 21. And 1 tile times 1 is 22. So this kingdom is a grand total of 22 points. These areas that have no crowns in them, of course, are 0 points. Whoever has the highest points wins. In the event of a tie, the player who has the largest single property is the winner. In the event of a tie in property size as well, it's the player who has the most crowns in their kingdom. And if it's still a tie after that, the players share the victory. That's how to play, guys. If you get a good handle on this and want to try out some more, there is some wonderful variants in the rulebook here that add additional objectives for you that can spice up your gameplay a little bit more, as well as it has a nice variant for 2 players to make a bit longer of a game with the Mighty Duel scenario. Thank you guys very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this and found it helpful. If you did, we would very much appreciate a like down below. If you want to see more BJ&Co videos, you can subscribe and hit the little ding notification if you want to get notified of when our videos go live. And if you want to see where we've got our presence all over the internet, you can check out our website at bj&co.ca, and that will link us to where we are. Thank you very much for watching today, guys, and we'll see you all next time. Bye!